Hey, this is Dave. We're here at Waterhaven for part 2 of our interview series with Urvaksh Karkaria called Drinks on Fifth. Well, it seems like you're out there having conversations with folks. You talked about your sources.
Yeah.
And, it seems like there's some congealing here of financing and some money seemed to be loosening up. Is that what you're kind of hearing around the way? I mean, we interviewed last night the folks from RentWiki who just took a $2.5 million Series A round, and seems to be some.
Did you tell them I was annoyed with them because they didn't bring the deal to me?
I did not tell them.
Right. Okay.
Actually, didn't know that. I would have told them that last night.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much M&A activity going on, and it's within the tech sphere, and it's not necessarily just fundraising. I mean, we had Ryla, which got bought by this California company. Ryla is I guess a call center, back office kind of tech operation. They got acquired for $70 million by a California company, and then just yesterday, who was the one? Ventix got acquired for $1 billion. So we're seeing a lot of M&A activity, but also a lot of deal activity. I mean, in tomorrow's paper, we're going to have a pretty large deal from a local startup within the tech sector. So I mean, you're seeing that. I don't know whether we are at 1999 levels, but
sure.
There is absolute activity, and I think good deals will get found. And of course, I think what's happening now is the old rule of, venture capitalists won't invest unless they're a 1-hour drive or a 1-hour flight. Those days are over. Capital is a lot more mobile now. So, even though there may not be enough capital, and I agree that there really isn't enough capital in Atlanta, these companies here can easily get funding from, all over the place.
When I saw your piece earlier, and I know Mike McQuarrie from TED last year, needed the WeGo thing, and they filed that's a pretty big raise at $5 million for like literally producing cars. So it's not like that's not your bootstrapping success story.
Right. No, and they've raised money in the past too. Well, we'll see. How long it takes. He says 2 months to me. We'll see how long it takes to raise $5 million. But obviously they're in a sexy industry, electric cars,
sure.
And it's good to see someone from Atlanta, in that space. We had Carbon Motors, but they've gone to Michigan, I think. So, yeah.
Cool. So the folks too, and you seem to have a connection to the Gwinnett Chamber folks, and as we look at kind of Metro Atlanta, Gwinnett seems to be booming pretty hard. I know they've got some tax credit things that draw businesses.
Well, I think the Gwinnett Chamber, I think, is really, really aggressive. I mean, led the economic development team, not the chamber. Though I guess the economic development team is part of the chamber. It's Gwinnett Partnership. I mean, Nick Messino, I don't know if you've ever met him, but I mean, that guy's a hard-charging guy, and he's always working, and I think it's paying off. I mean, they're aggressive. They're going after the companies, and they're winning. And Gwinnett is a fast-growing community. I mean, they have all the real estate now. They got hit in the recent real estate bubble a little bit. They've got a lot of empty warehouses, a lot of empty. Well, I don't know about a lot, but okay, they've got some warehouses. I don't want him to call me. And I think that's a good thing because it shows that they have the capacity. So if a company is looking to quickly get into a building, they have the inventory as opposed to, we'll need to build it or we'll need to look around.
Some longer range play.
Yeah, but I mean, I really like their approach to economic development. I mean, it's all about being aggressive and not giving up. And I guess it paid off in NCR.
Yeah. So that's kind of the big view of the world, drawing large companies to town. What about kind of the smaller, like pure startup thing? There's been a bunch of talk this week about Shot Put Ventures and their kind of remodification of their summer class, of 8 or 9 going through a parallel 9-week thing.
Sure. I mean, I don't think we're going to get, every deal isn't going to be an NCR. I think that's more the exception. But speaking of that, I wanted to just bring in one other trend that I'm seeing, which is a lot of consolidation is happening in tech and in other industries. Atlanta, for many reasons, the airport, the inexpensive real estate, the business-friendly climate, as companies retrench in a recession and essentially try to consolidate and lower their cost of business, they're more and more looking at Atlanta as a site for maybe their headquarters or for a regional headquarters. You have Sony Ericsson, You have, of course, NCR,
Sure.
Novellus. So I think Atlanta really benefits in terms of getting new companies in that way.
Yeah, we actually did that it's going back 96, 97. I worked with a company, we did 3D technology, and it was all came out of Cornell University.
Yeah.
And when it came time to be a real company, you can't really run a company in Ithaca, New York.
Sure,
with,
sure.
a 3,000-foot runway. So
no, I mean, these are established companies.
Sure.
Picking Atlanta for all those very reasons. I mean, NCR was a classic example. I mean, they came for the airport, but they also came for the skilled workforce. And Bill Newty, the CEO, when I interviewed him, he said one of the big reasons is it's difficult to recruit people, top talent, to Dayton, Ohio. It's a lot easier to recruit them to Atlanta.
Sure.
And I know they looked at New York because Newty actually sits there. The CFO and the CEO actually work out of New York. But we beat them out because of just the lower cost of doing business. And I think Atlanta should capitalize on that. That I think that's the way we're going to try and get out of this recession faster than most other companies.
Excellent. Well, I know you also run in some pretty amusing circles socially. I see you every once in a while hanging out with Jeff McConnell and Ricky Steele and all those guys. Always a hoot. Any great wine making on the lake stories that you can share with the world?
Yeah, I go to McConnell's wine soiree every once in a way. And by the way, Ricky Steele is my official chauffeur, because I try not to go outside the perimeter if I can, and I definitely don't want to drive there. So he'll pick me up on the way from work. But it's an eclectic mix of people, great for networking. I avoid the wine. The food's really good, and it's all his cooking. So he's got these, was it pork chops? He corrected me. I think it was, lamb chops. Sorry. Lamb chops apparently are very good, and very gracious guy. I've known Jeff for a while, and he's a great guy, always out there to help you, doesn't really need anything from you, just willing to be there. And I think people with good karma like that eventually move on up. So if you're looking for a CEO or a CFO, I highly recommend Jeff McConnell.
So the other thing that you're always, I've heard you describe yourself as an aspiring geek, and I know you're the Linux guy who's Ubuntu is your...
No, I'm not. I wish I was a geek, but I'm not. And yes, I use Ubuntu, which is a variant of Linux, distribution of Linux, but mostly from a consumer perspective. I mean, I try not to get into the command line or open the terminal if I can. And I think that's the great thing about Linux now. Everybody thinks Linux is for geeks, but over the years they've really sort of got a polished UI, and as they say, your grandmother can use Linux. And believe me, if I can use Linux, Ubuntu, I guess you can. So I enjoy it. I don't have to deal with Windows, and I don't have to pay the premium for Apple software. So it's perfect for me. So my only beef is that there is no iTunes version, so I can't really back up my iPhone, and that's the only missing thing. So if Steve Jobs somehow comes across this, please, Steve, get us a version.
So speaking of Steve, I know you're an Apple fan. I guess every once in a while you'll take a shot at.
I'm more of an iPhone fan than an Apple fan. I still all your Mac fanboys are going to get ticked off. I still don't see the value or the premium that Macs apparently demand in terms of the sticker price, especially for the average user, someone like me who uses the internet to browse and maybe write a document, check email. I'm not doing any video, I'm not doing any audio, I'm not making any podcasts. And I think the majority of people are like me, a good PC with Ubuntu on there, and you're all set.
So no iPad in your stable of gadgets?
No iPad in my stable of gadgets. No, I'm probably waiting for version 2 or 3.
Thanks for tuning in for part 2 of the interview with Urvaksh. We'll conclude it in the next couple of days. We look forward to it.